This week on CrunchWeek, Facebook adds payments to Messenger, Lyft's financials, and TechCrunch does South by Southwest. Hello, welcome to CrunchWeek. I'm Alex Wilhelm.
I'm Ryan Lawler.
And I'm Sarah Lane.
And it's been a big week. You guys are back from Austin, Texas, after spending some time in the desert, I believe.
Indeed we are. It's not so much of a desert. It's more of a low rolling hill type of a part of Texas.
I don't approve of Austin, but while you guys were there, did you see people actually using Facebook Messenger out on the street?
I wasn't really looking at anybody's phone. Ryan and I and the team that was on the ground in Austin, we started using Slack, and that actually worked out really well for us.
Yeah,
I didn't really use a lot of Facebook Messenger specifically.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Facebook Messenger user. I'm the type of person who likes to sort of minimize my methods of communication, and so like, I'll receive messages on Facebook and I will never see them.
Yeah.
So,
well, I asked because they added payment support this week, which was a big deal, taking on Venmo, all kind of P2P, things like Klinkle, which is a big damn deal, of course, as well. I'm surprised by the move a little bit. I didn't think it was going to happen now. We broke the news in October, I believe, here on TechCrunch. But I'm curious, do you guys plan on actually using this?
Well, so I use Facebook Messenger actually every single day, and the reason is because, this is kind of a weird thing to admit, but I don't have unlimited texting. I use iOS, but whenever I have a friend on Android that I'm like, oh, we're going to start talking pretty regularly, can we take this to Facebook Messenger so that I don't hit my limit? So there's actually, all my Android friends end up, as long as we're still friends, we end up using Facebook Messenger as our method of communication. Now, those same people, Colleen Taylor is one of those people. She has an Android phone. Colleen Taylor and I might go out to dinner one night and be like, let's split the check, that was really fun, but please you don't need to pay the $90 wine fee, whatever it is. Now we've got one more easy way to split money or send money back and forth between the two of us. It's just one of many options that we already have.
That's the point. It's one of this, pantheon of options out there. And I'm curious if Facebook can actually clone the market as it has done again and not fail this time. Their efforts to clone other products that have been successful from other companies like Snapchat and so forth have been pretty much abysmal. And so I'm curious if this time they won't kind of fuck it up and actually will get some market traction for their product.
Well, I think the interesting thing here is it's not like, when they tried to clone, Snapchat or whatever other app is out there, and they did so in a way in which they released a standalone app, right? What they did this time was they took technology that other people have been successful with, kind of, and they put it inside an app that people actually use.
Yeah.
So I think, it's a little bit of a difference in strategy this time around. And by the way, the payments thing is being led by David Marcus, who was at PayPal. So who better to help them figure that out?
And whether or not you like Facebook or not, and I know that there was a backlash when Facebook Messenger forced an app install for the mobile experience, but it is widely used.
Right.
And I have a large number, believe it or not, of friends who are just not technical at all, who are like, Venmo, I don't know, that just sounds hard. So, but they all use Facebook.
Do they trust it, though? Do they trust it with their money? Would they be okay with saying, all right, Facebook, you're cool, here's my debit card number?
I don't think it's really any different than people saying, our privacy is at stake on Facebook. Facebook really doesn't have our best interest in mind. Nobody's leaving Facebook in droves. I think it's an option to have that, maybe certain people will never ever use that feature, but it does exist, like stickers.
But that does bring up an interesting point, which is the one thing Facebook doesn't have right now is people's credit card numbers. Apple has it, Google has
Facebook
it,
got a lot
Amazon
of this back in the days
it.
of their big gaming platform. So that was a special thing. But on the topic of money, while we're talking about this, you broke a story this week about Lyft and Lyft's financials and kind of blew the top off of how they're doing financially. So
it was go back a week, and Lyft raised a huge round of funding.
How much?
It was $530 million. It was led by Rakuten, which is the big Japanese e-commerce company. So that was a big story. But basically, what gave those investors confidence to actually invest in Lyft was this financial forecast, which was shared to me by sources. So the really fun part about breaking this story was that it went out about 20 minutes before Lyft CEO Logan Green was on stage at South by Southwest doing an interview.
So you broke the numbers. He goes on stage. Did they grill him on the actual numbers? Did they bring him up?
Yeah. So Doug McMillan of the Wall Street Journal was interviewing him and gave a shout out to TechCrunch and to myself, and it was a nice little moment where I looked around and was like, that's me.
That's me. That's my scoop. So what are the numbers?
Okay, so a few numbers. 2015, they expect $1.2 billion, give or take, in gross sales. And of that, they will actually take home $300 million.
So $1.2 billion in total rides on the platform, of which they get their cut, which is $300 million.
Right, okay. And it's about 25% is their commission. And then in 2016, they expect that to grow to $2.7 billion and take home $700 million.
That's about 2.2, 2.3x growth year over year from 15 to 16.
Something like that. Yeah.
Very good.
I mean, do you think that Lyft is factoring in international growth? I mean, they just got a bunch of money from a Japanese investor, or is this actually U.S. numbers, and we'll see?
Yeah, well, so actually Logan talked about this on stage. They're going to take it slow internationally. They're focusing on mostly like building share in the US market. And I think part of the reason for that is they're seeing Uber trying to expand very aggressively in all these markets overseas, and having trouble, especially in big markets like China, India, Brazil, places where there are other established like incumbent players.
And that's really smart because Uber goes in, spends all the money, runs into the wall, breaks down the regulations, does all the work, and then Lyft kind of is like, what's up? We're here too now. Thanks for all the work in Bangkok. Appreciate it.
Thanks for figuring out all the scaling issues.
That's what they did in the US to some extent, right? Like Uber would show up, just run into the wall, and then Lyft would kind of come along later and show up. And it was brilliant because it saved them so much money and hassle and headache and bad PR.
The one number that everybody kind of keyed in on was they're spending $200 million, or they expect to spend $200 million in customer acquisition costs. And that includes both bringing on customers like passengers and bringing on drivers in 2015.
They're going to spend $200 million this year on driver acquisition and customer acquisition. Okay, so this is when I take a Lyft line and it's subsidized. That's what that money is, right?
Yep, that's where that money is.
Thank you, Lyft. And thank you, VCs, for making this happen.
It's also all these referrals, you know, like you send out a referral and sign up friends, and then both of you get like $10 off or $50 off or whatever. So that's, you know, they're counting that into their...
I'm impressed you guys are both actually here and you're not still hungover from South by. So quickly before we break, how was the festival this year? Was it all brands all the time? How did
all brands all the time. I hate that about South by. I didn't think it was any different. You know what it is? A lot of like performance pieces of people sort of doing weird stuff, and they're all wearing matching T-shirts, and you're like, okay, but they're selling something, and somebody will figure it out eventually.
The squirrels on the benches?
Squirrels on the benches, people who are afraid of robots.
What?
Yeah.
Who's afraid of robots?
Well, these people that are apparently pushing a dating app are pretending to be afraid of robot overlords.
That's the dumbest thing I've heard all day.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a bunch of news, or a bunch of noise, and not a lot of news, I should say.
Yeah.
And I think it's getting worse as time goes on.
So are you going to go next year? It's a question.
Well,
will you go back?
The nice thing about us being there, and particularly for me working on the video team, is there were all these writers, so there were all these opportunities to do cool stuff. So it was totally, I feel, worth TechCrunch's while to be there.
Right. Anthony interviewed a dog.
Anthony interviewed a celebrity dog, not just any dog, a celebrity dog with an overbite. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun, but there's just so much noise.
Right.
There's just so much noise.
One thing that broke out of that noise was Meerkat.
Oh God.
That might be another subject though.
That was last week. That's so passe. Yeah. But actually on new stuff, it's Friday now, and on Monday we're breaking out a brand new show that we're really excited about.
Daily show, Crunch Report.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is you. This is your show.
It's my show, although I'm going to make you guys participate, so I hope that that's something that interests you.
You're actually the boss, so yes, I will just kind of do what you say. But so Crunch Report, Daily Show, what time?
Daily Show, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It'll appear in a video player. Don't even have to think about it. Right at the top of TechCrunch.com, Monday through Friday. It's very exciting. The video team has been working really hard on this. We're really proud of it, and it'll be TechCrunch's first daily video product, but not its last.
That sounds terrifying, so I think we all just got new jobs. All right, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you all on Monday at the very top of TechCrunch.